Well, hello everyone. Good evening, I guess. It's not morning yet, but welcome to another edition of the Wolves post game live stream podcast thing. The music was really loud there for a second. I'm Andrew Dukowitz from Zone Coverage, your host, and we got Nolan O'Hara, formerly of, oh gosh, like everything, I feel like, but now currently living a new life without having to write gamers. Nolan, how's it going, man?
It's going good. Yeah, no, appreciate you having me back on. It's been a good few months and fun to be able to come back and talk about some wolves here again too.
Well, and I want to say the last time I saw you, Leonard Miller was making beaded bracelets for a bunch of tribal elders, and now he's in Chicago. So
I
time
know that was
time
a
moves
sad.
fast.
It was sad to see him leave after that, but hopefully he's doing good in a new home and gets a chance. And still a super young guy. Hopefully he'll be able to kind of make a role, carve out a role for himself, and get a chance to develop. Tough to get minutes on this team with all the depth they got. So good should be a good
I'm
opportunity for him.
I mean, honestly, that's just it in a way it's like I really liked Lenny here and I wish he would have stayed, but like at least he's getting minutes. He played 20 minutes tonight against OKC, dropped 8 points, 3 rebounds. Like at least he's getting time now, but like shout out Lenny, like the clown, and also Cole mentions no hat. Yes, I everyone from Mike Conley to Jace Frederick to Naveen to Travis have mentioned that I'm not wearing a hat today. Probably won't be an always thing, but I had to like prove to people that I'm not balding under my hat every once in a while. So appreciate you shouting that out immediately. Also got rid of the mustache. The wife is on vacation, so I no longer have her torment. I don't get to torment her with a mustache anymore, so the mustache is gone. It's lost all of its appeal. Nolan, back to the game tonight, though. I mean, just kind of seemed like a prototypical Wolves game where the Memphis just kind of hangs around until halftime. It really feels like it might be one of those like, oh gosh, they're gonna do that thing again where they play down to their competition. Third quarter, Wolves come out, kind of just kick the doors down and run them out of the gym. And then the fourth quarter, it kind of turns into one of those games again. And hits 39 points. He misses 4 straight shots, and Memphis kind of claws back into it. I mean, what was your take on the game, though? Is it just kind of a they dodged a bullet, or did you see something different tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it felt like the classic. They're not playing Denver, they're not playing OKC, they're playing a struggling Memphis team, so they kind of just stumble out of the gates, have to dig themselves a little bit of a hole to wake them up a little bit, and then do that. And it's like when they have those moments, they're playing well, go on a 10-0 run, they get right back into it, and they let up a three right before half, and then they have a great third quarter, and then they just kind of let them hang around to the very end. And all of a sudden, it's like it was just a 15-point game. How is it a 4-point game? What just happened there? So yeah, kind of a classic game. I mean, the important thing is they're able to get the win. It's fourth straight, 7 of their last 8. I think they've won now.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got to be able to get the wins however you can get them, and they got that one tonight. And it's kind of also building up to be the classic Wolves start the season bad, finish it strong, which has kind of been the theme here in these last few years too. So if they can kind of keep it up and win these games, however you have to win them, that's really all that matters as we kind of get headed towards the playoffs here.
I mean, that's what's just I don't know if it's crazy or if it's infuriating or what it is, but like it does seem like this season is taking near identical paths to last year and the year before. And honestly, even like the first Rudy year, they kind of caught fire after the All Star break. Like, at what point is it just kind of like this team's DNA where they're gonna mess around for the first half of the season and then come in the second half after the All Star break and just run through the league, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it does seem like it's just kind of part of them, right? It's like they need that like external driver. It doesn't seem like they just have it to have it. It seems like it's like the season's kicking in. But I mean, part of that is the grind of the NBA season too, right? Like no team's playing their best night in, night out. Everybody's taking some nights off. It's an 82 game season, takes forever. Um, I guess that's just part of it. And it's on the bright side, it seems like they do kick it into gear and go as far as the team really can go. It's like, I don't think anybody really thought they were going to beat OKC last year. That was about as far as I thought they could go. There were a lot of people thought they were going to lose to the Lakers in the first round, right? So it's like they do
Yeah.
get the most out of this team when it matters. It's just it can be really frustrating to watch when you're, you know, what is it, about 20 games left and you're playing a terrible Memphis team that's got a bunch of young guys. And you know crazy to think that this is a Memphis is who they lost to in the playoffs a few years ago, and it's just an entirely new team now. And um it's just one of those games that's just going to be kind of frustrating when they're just going to let them hang around, and you have to play your starters all the way to the end instead of letting them get some rest.
I mean, to your point, I'm looking at the Detroit Pistons right now, who have a ridiculous 45-15 record. And if you look at their losses, they lost to the Bulls, they lost to the Bucks without Giannis, they lost to the Mavericks without Cooper, they lost to the Clippers when the Clippers were bad, uh, and the Wizards. I mean, a third of their losses are against teams they. I think there is a lot more to that, where it's just this is just the modern NBA. Like I think guys just don't, it's unless they're going for a wins record, they just don't have the same like lock in against some of these. And to your point again, like they're daring Memphis to beat them, where Memphis is playing hockey shifts out there and just going 5 in, 5 out, closing with their bench, not fouling down four, like the classic, like we are not trying to win this game, but the shots keep going in. Pack mentality says it too. They're daring teams to try hard against them, which like that is what it seems like they're kind of doing. But as long as they pull them out, and then against the good teams like Denver, they show that they can rise to that occasion. Like it seems like this team could be again a pretty dangerous team, especially given that, like you said again, not to just agree with everything you're saying, but like Finch does have a way of like maximizing what he gets out of these guys. It did get kind of posted around on social quite a bit today that like the Wolves do have the third toughest schedule out of everybody in the NBA to close the season. I mean, do you feel like that's in a way almost a good thing for these guys, that like they're kind of forced to take every game seriously?
I think it probably can be, right? Is like, you know, you see this team play Denver. It's not the same team that's playing Utah, and it's just a lot. They just seem to lock in. Ant seems to be way more dialed in against these teams that like he knows he's going to see in the playoffs. That this seems, and it seems like the whole team kind of goes with that too. And um, it probably is to their benefit that they're going to have to go through teams that they're like, hey, we could see these guys in the playoffs, and like rather have home court than not home court. So I think, it's never great to have a super tough schedule, but it just seems like I'd almost be more worried if you had a whole bunch of, Utah Memphis games down the stretch of the season than if you do, Clippers and Nuggets and OKC, right? It's like they'll wake up for those games for sure, and you don't need the reminder. Versus like play Memphis, you got a guy on a 10-day contract who's playing for a career, right? Um, and this team's like, well, we should beat this team, and it's uh it's at least more fun to watch when they're playing those good teams too. So I think that could be of their benefit here down the stretch.
I mean, again, like that is the reality of it. It's like half of the guys on Memphis. Well, not Memphis. They actually have like a lot of capable NBA players. But like, what was it last year? They played Portland towards the end of the season, and like I couldn't pick half of their lineup out of a lineup. Like I had no clue who was out there. And it's like, yeah, those guys are quite literally fighting for their NBA lives. Like they're not going to just roll over. They're going to try and put good tape on Ant. And meanwhile, Ant is and the Wolves kind of have this like, what are you guys doing type of attitude of like you should just stop trying so hard. But it again, like it's weird to say that it's a benefit that their schedule is going to be like a murderer's row. I mean, they play Oklahoma City twice. They got a stretch where they're going Lakers, Clippers, Warriors, Thunder in there. I mean, oh, they only play Oklahoma City once, they play the Pistons twice. But like, it's gonna be tough. But I think that's kind of how this team needs to be prepared. Is that they kind of need to do things the hard way, which again is just odd that this team for 4 years has had to do things the hard way. Don't you think?
It is, right? It's like it is Groundhog's Day kind of watching this team, you know? It's like kind of the same thing year in and year out. But, you know, at the end of the day, too, it is like the old adage of like iron sharpens iron, right? It's like you're not going to get any breaks in the playoffs. So you might as well have a final stretch that gears you up for it and a stretch that, you know, like you said, what was it? Lakers, Clippers, OKC. You know,
Lakers,
like
Clippers, Golden State, OKC. Like that's a 4-game road trip.
that's a stretch that's going to get you prepared for the playoffs for sure. So, you know, might as well get it, you know, get it tested now and then be ready for what's going to be around the corner here in April and May.
So Ray brings up a good point in the comments here of just up by 17, 3 minutes left. Finch mysteriously takes Dante out of the game and everything almost went to hell. Finch mentioned it after the post game that like he was a little nervous with Memphis's ball pressure and he wanted to get another ball handler in there, which like Io is objectively a better ball handler than Dante. I mean, let's just talk about it now. Like I think more so than that substitution was I mean, Ant was going for 40. I know post game in the locker room, he's saying the right thing, saying like, no, I'm not going for, you know, points don't matter. But like the dude shot 4 straight, like mid range shots and bricked them all after getting 39. I mean, like, how do you manage that? And I don't expect you to have an answer, but like, just like, how do you manage that when your best player is just kind of going a little rogue when they're up by 17 and kind of almost cost them the game?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. And it's like, you know, maybe he's not going for 40. Maybe it's just is him just being like, I'm going to get the dagger in this game. Right. And it's, it is tough situation. And like, yeah, I don't know what you do with it because like, the Finch approach does seem to be working, and it always kind of feels like his approach is like he's gonna tell Ant that he's what he's doing wrong, but he's gonna let Ant keep making the mistakes, and you kind of have to do that because he's your best player and he's the reason this team's as good as they are. But at the same time, it's like when you have a cushion like that, like you don't need to go and get the dagger. Like you can go and pass the ball, and there's a lot of leeway here where you don't need to chuck up bad shots. You can pass it, you can, even if your teammates aren't making it, you've got time to, come back and be the hero if you need to be, right? So I guess I don't know what you really do about it. You kind of just have to take the downs you get with the ups. But yeah, it's frustrating when he goes hunting, and he's done that on a number of occasions, and we've seen it even at the end of games where it's like Finch will drop a play and Ant doesn't run it and chucks up a shot that he wants to chuck up, and that misses the final shot. They lose the game, and you have no idea what it could have been, if you saw what Finch came up with because he didn't get the chance to show what that play was. So I don't know. It's in all around, it's tough, but there's not really anything you can do about it when it's your best player.
I mean, pack mentality kind of says it, like Ant will be Ant, which I mean, again, even you mentioned like we don't know what Finch draws up on the grease board. Like the encapsulation of that is Ant taking that corner 3 into a double coverage and like daggering it, and then just kind of being like, "That's what I do," and it's like it's hard
More
to
often than
argue
not,
with
he
it.
hasn't done that, though, is the thing, right?
Exactly.
Those end of game ones, especially, like, more often
So
than
like a
not, that's
game
not
like
how it's gone.
it, and more often than not, like Finch is kind of falling on the sword for it, which like that's just it's tough. I think it's something like Finch kind of has to do, but like, yeah, tonight was just kind of that encapsulation of like, when you have kind of the MVP ladder, right? Which like I'm not going to go off of the NBA Central MVP ladder because like they didn't even have Ants on it, but like if you're looking at like best players of the league, like it's Shea, Jokic, Giannis, Luka, and then there's kind of a gap before you get to like Ant. I like to put Tatum still in that first group because like I'm not going to punish the dude for being hurt,
Injured, yeah.
but like that's the difference. Like Ant, when he's 28, probably isn't hunting for 40 in a random Tuesday night game against Memphis. He's probably making the right play, getting a layup, and then sits the last 3 minutes. Farah makes a comment, up 17, put Mike in so we have control. Like, honestly, that's like they have Mike, Kyle, and Joe. If they would have put those 3 guys in with anyone else, that they probably win by 12, and it's not a nail biter. But
yeah,
it's just such a difficult spot because Ant is so young still, just 24. But like those are the things I think fans and media get frustrated with, is just like, you don't have to do it, right?
yeah, definitely. And honestly, that's not a bad comment. This is probably, like the mic roll is not going to be what it was the first half of the season. The mic roll probably should be like, hey, if things are getting a little squirrely at the end of the game and we're up, like let's put Mike in to just handle the ball and run the offense. Because yeah, like to the point too of taking like Dante out, Mike's a ball handler too, right? Like he's not going to play over Io or Bones or Kyle,
Right.
at this point anymore. But at the end of the game, he is a steadying hand, and that would not be a bad thing too. And he does, he still does do a good job at that. The scoring's not there, the offense isn't there definitely anymore, but he's still a steadying point guard that, even with the addition of Io, they don't really have. I mean, Kyle, I guess, is closer to a point guard, but it's still not quite a point guard team. Team still kind of a sans a point guard here. So I don't know. I think that could be a role. He could, yeah, have Ingles inbound the ball to Mike at the end of games when it starts getting squirrely. That could be a
Ingles
fun
inbounds
one.
it to Mike. Mike's takes 23 and a half seconds off the clock, and then someone hucks a shot, and they just like, that's the thing that's crazy, is like, mathematically speaking, if they were just taking the full shot clock, they only win by 10, even if they miss everything.
Right.
But like, it's the like rust shots with 14 seconds left that are just, again, it's the difference between, Ant being the 3rd best player in the league and Ant where he is now. Like it's just age. I think a lot of it. Cole brings up like Ant doesn't trust anyone to close out games, but him, like, I do think there is, I don't know if it's a trust thing, but like Ant is the best option closing games. Like if you look at Ant's clutch stats this year, they're insane. If you look at Ant's like above the break 3 ball, like mid-range, like Ant analytically is like the best option. Like if you're taking a test, Ant is kind of the, they always say in college, like guess C, because statistically it's the most likely to go and be right. Like Ant is guessing C on everything on the test. Like he is statistically usually the best in every option. Like Ray kind of brings it up though, is like Ant hero ball is going to hurt him in the playoffs, because at some point teams are going to figure out how to kind of make that statistical anomaly decrease a little bit, like especially over 7-game series. And if Ant's not trusting, quote unquote, his teammates, like that's going to be tough, especially when you do have guys like Dante, who, is kind of a streaky, hot, cold shooter. You have guys like Io that have never really been in those moments. Julius, we've kind of seen him, and there's not really anyone else on this team that's really like ready to step in that moment. What do you think, Nolan?
Yeah, I don't really disagree at all there. I mean, I think it's just like a tough balance to strike, right? And I think that's something Ant's probably still figuring out at this point in his career, is that like, yeah, you do want him to be the closer, right? But you don't need to be taking every single shot when you're up 17 with, 5 minutes to go or whatever it is. And similarly, like he should be the one driving the offense in the fourth quarters of close games. But if they're throwing doubles at him, he still should get off the ball and he can come back to it, but should still get off the ball before chucking up 3 over 2 guys. And I think it's like he's shown the ability to do that at some points, and then other times not so much. And I think it is. I don't know if it is a trust thing, but like we have seen it at times where guys will be hesitant to throw to Rudy in the paint if he's had a couple drops down there. And like you said too, Dante is a really streaky shooter. Like he'll just have stretches where he's just cold. So I don't know if that is a trust thing at all either. But yeah, I mean, whether it's trust or not is just going to be one way or another. He's just going to have to kind of grow into that, and you assume he will, right? It's like he gets a lot of comparisons to Shea, but he is a few years. Shea's 27, I think.
Yeah.
So he's still a
He's
few years
almost
younger
3
than
full
Shea.
years younger than him. Like,
Mhm.
even though they were I think Shea was 2018, maybe 2019. It wasn't 2019. So 2017, 2018. Like, he does have like time to catch up. And then Jokic and Giannis are both, hitting
Much
30s.
older, yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, he's on pace to wreck the league, like kind of everyone expects. It's just, I think, unlike Shea, he's kind of put in this position where he's 24 and kind of the driver of an offensive Ferrari with Rudy on defense. Like, it is something that hopefully he grows into. A couple people have mentioned, like, once the playoffs starts, he will start getting off the ball. I think that's what we saw last year, especially in the playoffs, like against not so much the Lakers, but more so against Golden State when they were doing weird things defensively. Like, Ant was really smart in those moments. It's just, that's why there's a regular season and a playoffs. Like, I do think guys have that ability to like switch parts of their brains on and off. Nolan, I do want to talk Slowmo though, but first I'm going to throw in some ad reads so we can get those out of the way. And then let's talk a little Slowmo, because this was the most Slowmo game I think Slowmo could have.
Sounds.
Well, hello. Thank you, Livestream Andrew. This is Ad Read Andrew. And today we have Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, the presenting sponsor for the Missing Links podcast. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling strives to inspire people to follow their ideas, working with respect and understanding to create a quality, tailored result. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, located in Blaine and serving in the North Metro area, is here to help you with your building and remodeling needs. I can say personally, thanks to Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, I have a beautiful deck in my backyard, and countless projects that I started, they finished. Get started on your new deck or remodel today by calling Isaac at 763-710-5686. And we're back with another ad read, this time for Pence Homes, the presenting sponsor of Hitting the Hardwood Network. From the best tools and technology to transparency throughout the entire process, Nate Pence and the Pence Homes team is the top choice for buyers, sellers, and is proud to support you and your home ownership goals. Get started today by calling 612-308-1122 or by emailing info@pencehomes.com. All right, Nolan. First out, shout out Firehawk and Pence Homes. Appreciate them so much. But Nolan, I mean, Kyle gets re-signed. He has his first media scrum today, and I have never gotten the privilege to talk to Kyle. I credentialed the year after he left, so last season. And it was one of the things I was kind of bummed about, of like, man, I'm not going to be able to talk to Kyle unless I go to like a Warriors press conference, and that just seems like a lot of work. Man, everything is advertised. Everything that everyone said, that like Kyle can't hide his facial emotions of how he really feels about something, that he's pretty blunt and honest, like exceeded expectations. And then he comes in tonight, doesn't take a shot, and is maybe like one of the most important players on the team tonight. I mean, just from like a settling them down when things were going awry standpoint, especially, like, he got first quarter minutes tonight, which is wild for a dude that signed to the team a day ago. But like, what how was your Kyle Anderson experience tonight? I guess I've been elated so far.
I'm surprised you didn't think he was going to get first quarter minutes. You should have known the second they signed him that Finch was going to throw him. I'm half surprised he wasn't in the starting lineup tonight.
I mean,
But
fair.
But funny enough, I was thinking about it because the last time I was on the podcast, we were talking about like what do the Wolves need, kind of looking towards the trade deadline here, and you'd mentioned potential buyout candidate Kyle Anderson, and sure enough, here he is back on the team. But no, I mean, I think he played well. I think he did what they needed him to do tonight, kind of like you said, calm things down. Um, doesn't need to take a lot of shots, and he's not the guy who's going to chuck up a lot of shots. He moves the ball. Something Rudy was happy about to have somebody pass the ball again. But no, I mean, I wasn't surprised by
Rudy did mention that.
heard that one from through the grapevine. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised to see him play whatever the 14 minutes it was tonight. I don't know if there was like a ton I immediately took away other than what I kind of already expected was that Finch is not going to be hesitant to play him. He defends well, he moves the ball well. I think the biggest thing that'll be kind of nice to have is they do kind of need that another floor general, right? So I think
Yeah.
having Kyle back in the mix to be able to be a ball handler off the bench, I think will probably be really good for this team because he's probably a more of a facilitator than really any of the people they have playing point guard with Dante, Io, and Bones. I mean, Kyle's more of a facilitator really than any of them. So I think that's kind of a role that'll be really beneficial to have. And then also that you can have him guard a four as a point guard too. He's super versatile defensively, and that's something that's always super useful and nice. I mean, Finch. One of the reasons Finch loves him is he'll go out there, he'll make smart plays, he won't turn the ball over, he won't shoot bad shots, and he'll play good defense. So, what more can you ask for? That's I think what they got out of Kyle tonight. Didn't even take one shot.
I mean, Rudy, first off, that's just Rudy being funny. Like, I don't think there was anything malicious about that quote with Rudy. Like, yes, he said the quiet part out loud, but like, that's I was dying laughing when he said that. Like, I could not contain myself. Second, like, I mean, I think there's two things that I kind of learned from Kyle tonight. Like, one, I think he still has some juice. Like, he played pretty well for Miami last year. I think Golden State was just a nightmare. Like, you're trying to play Draymond and Kyle at the same time, and they're like very similar players. Steph is in and out. Like, trade talks with Jimmy for half the season. Like, I think that was just a nightmare situation for the guy. And then, like, he goes to Utah this year, and I asked him about it. He said he didn't want to talk about it, and then proceeded to talk about it, which I always appreciate when people do that. Like, it sounded like it kind of sucked in Utah. Like, he's a guy that's trying to win a championship. He's 32 years old. And like, you can love your teammates, you can love your coaching staff when you're playing with like 21-year-olds that aren't in a position to win. Like, that sucks. So I kind of just noticed right off the bat, like, he's still contesting shots. He still is doing all of the things that we want like a wing defender to do. The other thing I took away from this game is like midway through his shift in the third quarter, there's a moment where like Nas and Randall were both talking about like a defensive assignment, and Kyle just like shot them a look. And then, like, even from my seat, I could tell he was yelling at them. And I was like, this is perfect. This is what this team's needed. They need someone to just literally yell at each other, which Kyle kind of joked that that's not going to be his role right away, but it took him 8 minutes before he kind of jumped into that role. So I think, at least from like an accountability standpoint, he's going to be excellent for them.
No, definitely. I think that is kind of like a voice they probably need too, right? Somebody to be a little blunt with everybody. And and in a way too that like on that defensive side of the ball too. I think it's probably a good voice for Ant to have and just the familiarity there too. So right. So it's like there's, obviously new guys on the team who don't have that experience with him, but there's a lot of guys, a lot of the same guys still there who know him and know the way he leads and the way he gets his messages across too. That I think that having that voice back in the locker room will be a benefit to this team, and just be able to mesh in with the culture that's kind of been established there too. So it's nice when you can add a player back who you've had, and I think that really should be a pretty seamless fit to get him back up to speed. He'll just be getting, used to. I think I heard Finch on the post game presser mention some spacing stuff. I think that's probably going to take a little bit of getting used to playing with like Julius. But I don't imagine that that'll be something that takes much time for them to figure out either.
I think it's different with like, I mean, you think of like Mike Conley getting traded here with Nikhil in that, like, in that D-Lo trade. And it's like, you could kind of tell it took Nikhil until the playoffs to really feel comfortable. But like Mike, it was like immediate. And part of it is like Mike played with Rudy. Mike kind of knows, how Finch wants to play it. But like guys that are just like basketball geniuses, which like Josh brings up as Kyle automatically the highest basketball IQ guy in the rotation. Like, honestly, like guys like Kyle just get it. Like, I don't think it's going to take much more than like a week or two before he's kind of figured out how to play with Io, kind of figures out how to play with everybody else. And like, he just gets it, which I do think he's probably the highest basketball IQ guy in the rotation now. Like Rudy has a really high basketball IQ. He just, he's going to punt a ball into the 8th row or like trip over something. I mean, he got hit in the head like 7 times today. Like he just, there's barriers to him being like a super high IQ guy. Like he's not going to get the ball a ton.
Yeah.
Like I do think, Kyle's probably in that conversation. Oddly, Jaden, I think, is maybe in that conversation too. Like Jaden's a really smart player this season. I don't think he gets as much credit for it, but like there's a reason like Mike Conley kept comparing him to Kyle this season. And like some of it is just like Jaden's a really smart player. I honestly think he probably needs more like playmaking duties, but it's just hard to justify it when you have Ant and Julius on a team. But I mean, what do you think? Do you think Kyle kind of steps in and he's obvious, like instantly the biggest IQ guy on the team?
Yeah, I mean, I probably would say that. I mean, you make a good point about Jaden, though. I mean, Jaden is like he's a very smart player. He doesn't make dumb mistakes, doesn't turn the ball over. Um, he's not like a facilitator in the traditional sense, but he does move the ball well. But so I mean, I could throw Jaden there. Mike's not in the rotation anymore, so I would probably lean Mike if he was still playing. But yeah, with Kyle back in the mix, I mean, he just does everything. He does everything super well. Defensively knows where to be. He's always in the right spot. Moves the ball super clean. I think yeah, you're not going to get any dumb plays out of Kyle. You're just going to get really smart basketball, and this team doesn't always play really smart basketball. So it's nice to have somebody injected into the lineup now who will.
It is kind of ironic that like after the trade deadline, they're just kind of where they were last season at this point. Like Io is a pretty good Nas facsimile. Like obviously they're different players, but like they kind of have the same role on the team of like just backup juice guy. And then like Kyle's just kind of Mike this season. Like it's just weird how this team kind of repeats the same thing over and over again. Pack mentality says Jaden did say his point guard. Jaden has been saying that this year that like he's a point guard. I mean, again, like he can pass the ball to Rudy. He doesn't make a ton of mistakes. Like spoiler, my piece for tomorrow is comparing him at his age 25 season to Scottie Pippen's age 25 season. And like, it's pretty similar. Scottie got like 6 assists in the triangle offense, but I mean, they play a very similar offensive style. Like I think there's a world where like Jaden 3 years from now is averaging 8 assists and is like an all-star. I don't know if that's the world we're going to live into, but certainly could be. Nolan, should we at least address the fact that like Rudy Gobert did punch Kyle Anderson like 3 years ago? I mean, it is a little strange that like Rudy seemed like the most pumped guy to have Kyle back after punching him 2.5 years ago.
That is such a fun, it's a fun to see how far we've come, right? It's like now we're saying that Jaden might be the highest basketball IQ guy, and at that same time
Or
he was
punching a
punching a
wall.
wall and breaking his hand, right? So we've come a long way here with this team, and it's fun to see, and it's like the more things change, I guess the more they stay the same too, right? It's like they got rid of Kyle. Well, they didn't get rid of Kyle, but Kyle left in free agency, and now Kyle's back, and it's like this team's hardly changed. Mike got traded. Mike's back. It's like it's it's more or less, the only one that you'll get Cat back here, and we're right back to where we were 3-4 years ago, right? But
I mean,
no,
who
I mean,
knows? His next contract, he might just be a mid-level guy.
you never know.
The way they talk about him in New York, I mean, you'd think he was terrible despite putting up phenomenal stats still.
That's the New
Nolan,
York media there. It's tough.
I mean, that's what's it is just like, I do think that's one of the things, like, Julius gets traded here, and everything I kind of heard from New York media was that he wasn't a winning player. I do think some of the DMs I got from fans saying like, enjoy the roller coaster. Like there's some Julius nights where he looks like he's a all NBA guy, and there's other ones where like it's really, really bad. But like Julius is, I mean, he's the second most, not the second most important. He's probably the third most important player on the team. I think Rudy's probably second, but like, I mean, he's a winning player for this Wolves team. Like, you don't get to the Western Conference Finals when one of your top three guys is just a nothing. Like, I don't know. I think there is some overcriticalness in that media market, which who knows? Maybe Cat will be back. I would say there's a 0% chance that Cat's like 38 years old and back in the Wolves uniform for nostalgia. Nolan, I do want to give you space though. We're hitting that 40-minute mark. I know you're not producing much written work now, but do you want people to find you online? Like where can they find you if you want the floor is yours. Do with it what you will, sir.
Yeah, I'm not too active anywhere anymore. So I would just say, listen to the Missing Wolves podcast, right? I think that's where I can direct people. I just keep supporting Andrew here. He does a great job, and appreciate him having me on to talk about the Wolves every so often, so I can keep my toes in it a little bit.
Hey man, you're I mean, watching you work last year where you're churning out 37 articles a day, like I gained so much respect for you. There's always a spot on any type of content that I'm doing for you. I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks again for having me. It's been fun.
And Kate says you're cool, Nolan. Real chill. Come back again.
All right, I guess you have to have me back now.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get you on for the playoffs. For anyone that joined into this a little late, it does go up on YouTube and over on X as soon as I end the stream. If you can wait until tomorrow morning, which I can actually say tomorrow morning, we didn't make it past midnight in this game. Oh, this is Teresa. I'm not used to you being on YouTube. Sorry, Teresa. Your YouTube name's different than your X name, but where was I? Lost train of thought. We didn't make it past midnight. So if you want to listen to this tomorrow, it does get published as a podcast anywhere you listen to your podcasts. For Nolan, I'm Andrew, and we'll be back Thursday night after another Wolves game. Hopefully it's 5 in a row.
Yeah, fingers crossed.